There is a specific kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with how much you sleep. It is a heaviness in your chest when you try to say no. It is the sharp spike of anxiety when you see a specific name pop up on your phone. It is the lingering feeling that you are living a life that doesn't quite belong to you, as if you are merely an extension of someone else. We talk a lot about absent fathers. We talk about the men who left or the men who were too hard. Society gives us plenty of language for daddy issues. We know what that looks like. But we rarely talk about the mother who stayed too close. We don't talk about the love that felt like suffocation, the care that felt like control, the sacrifice that felt like a debt you could never repay. If the father wound is often about a lack of protection or guidance, the mother wound is more subtle and often more dangerous. It is about a lack of permission to be separate, permission to be happy without her, permission to be you. Think about it. A mother does not just birth a child, she births their reality. For the first 9 months of your existence, you were literally part of her body. You ate what she ate, you felt what she felt. And for many people, that psychological separation never truly happened. Maybe you've never spoken this out loud, but deep down, you know the truth. You feel weak today, not because you lack strength, but because you were raised to believe that your independence was a betrayal. You were trained to believe that having a self separate from her was an act of abandonment. This isn't about blaming her. This isn't about pointing fingers at a woman who likely did the best she could with the trauma she carried. It's about something quieter. It's about understanding why you, as an adult, still feel like a child in her presence. It's about understanding why you crumble under pressure, why you apologize for existing, and why you seek validation like it's oxygen. Let's talk about the wound no one wants to admit exists. Her body was your first home. Her heartbeat was the first sound you ever heard. This biological connection is the most powerful bond in nature, but it is also what makes the psychological separation, what psychologists call individuation, so incredibly difficult. For a healthy adult to emerge, the mother must eventually let go. She must allow the child to become a separate entity. But what happens when she can't? What happens when her own inner void is so deep that she uses her child to fill it? If your mother carried unhealed trauma, if she felt unloved by her partner, abandoned by her own parents, or unfulfilled in her own life, she may have unknowingly turned to you to fill that emptiness. She didn't just want a child to raise, she wanted a partner, a therapist, a best friend, a savior. This manifests in different ways. Maybe you had the enmeshed mother. This is the mother who has no boundaries. She needs to know everything. She is overly involved. She calls you 5 times a day, not because she cares about your day, but because she needs to regulate her own anxiety through you. With this mother, you learn that love means suffocation. You learn that to be loved, you must surrender your privacy and your autonomy. Or maybe you had the critical mother. She viewed you not as a person, but as a reflection of herself. If you looked good, she felt good. If you failed, she felt ashamed. So she critiqued everything: your weight, your grades, your partners, your choices. With her, you learn that love is conditional. You learn that you are only worthy when you are perfect. Or perhaps you had the victim mother. This is the most subtle trap of all. She wasn't mean, she was fragile. She was always overwhelmed, always sad, always suffering. And you, even as a tiny child, felt a massive responsibility to protect her. You became the parent. You learned to suppress your own needs because mom is too fragile to handle them. In all these scenarios, the result is the same. You learned very early on that your primary job was not to explore the world, but to manage her emotions. If she was sad, you had to be the cheer. If she was anxious, you had to be the rock. If she was angry, you had to be the invisible one. You learned to trade your authenticity for her approval. Psychologists call this enmeshment, but you probably just call it being a good son or being a good daughter. And this is why you feel weak today. Because you cannot trust your own gut instinct. You've spent your entire life tuning into her frequency, ensuring she is okay, before you ever check if you are okay. So how does this ancient history show up in your life right now, today, at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday? It shows up as guilt. Toxic, crushing, paralyzing guilt. You feel guilty when you spend money on yourself. You feel guilty when you prioritize your spouse over her. You feel guilty when you don't answer the phone immediately. You feel guilty for simply being happy when she is not. It is a silent contract you signed as a child, written in invisible ink. I am not allowed to do better than you. I am not allowed to leave you behind. I am not allowed to be separate. This guilt creates a profound weakness in your character. It turns you into a people pleaser. You become the nice guy or the good girl who can't say no. But let's be honest, are you really nice? Or are you just afraid? Are you saying yes because you want to help, or because you are terrified of the conflict that might happen if you say no? This trauma response destroys your ability to lead your own life. It affects your career. You might stay in a job that is beneath your potential because you are afraid of outshining others, or because you are waiting for permission to succeed. You are afraid to take risks because your nervous system is wired to keep things safe and stable for mommy. It affects your relationships. If you are a man with a mother wound, you might look for women who control you, or conversely, women you have to save, just like you saved your mother. If you are a woman, you might attract partners who are critical or emotionally unavailable, replaying the dynamic of trying to win love that is never freely given. You feel weak because you are divided. Part of you, the adult part, wants to grow, to fly, to build an empire, to travel, to love freely. But the other part, the wounded child inside, is terrified that your success will kill her, that your independence will break her heart. So you self-sabotage, you procrastinate, you stay small. Because in your childhood home, small meant safe. Small meant you wouldn't trigger her insecurity. Small kept the bond intact. But you are not a child anymore, and this smallness is now a prison. I want to move from theory to feeling. I want to try something with you. If it's safe to do so, put your phone down, or just soften your gaze. Take a deep breath. I want you to imagine you are standing in a white, empty room. It is quiet here, safe. In front of you, a few steps away, stands your mother. See her clearly, not the monster you fear, and not the saint you worship, just the human woman. Look at her face. Look at her hands. See the lines of age, the history in her eyes. Now, look at the space between you. Visualize a cord connecting your solar plexus, your stomach, to hers. What does that cord look like for you? Is it a thick, heavy chain? Is it a thin, fragile thread? Is it a pulsing, fleshy umbilical cord that never got cut? Does it glow with light, or does it look dark, drained, and exhausted? This cord is the mother wound. It is the channel through which you have absorbed her fears, her judgments, and her limitations for decades. Through this cord, her anxiety becomes your anxiety. Her sadness becomes your depression. Now, in this visualization, I want you to look down at your hands. Imagine you are holding a pair of golden scissors. These are the scissors of adulthood. Notice how your body feels holding them. Is your heart racing? Do you feel guilt rising up? That is normal. Acknowledge the guilt, but don't drop the scissors. You are not going to hurt her. You are not going to abandon her. You are not rejecting her love. You are simply cutting the cord that feeds on your energy. You are reclaiming your nervous system. Imagine lifting the scissors. Take a breath and cut. See the cord fall to the floor. Watch what happens to her. She might look surprised. She might look sad. But notice that she is still standing. She survives. And look at yourself. You are still standing. You are separate. You are whole. This visual is what boundaries look like. It is not an act of war. It is an act of survival. It is the only way you can ever truly love her, as two separate adults, not as a host and a parasite. Breaking the cycle is the hardest thing you will ever do. but it is the price of admission for a meaningful life. It doesn't mean you have to stop loving your mother. It doesn't mean you have to cut her out of your life completely, unless the relationship is abusive. But it does mean the dynamic must change. Setting boundaries is actually the most loving thing you can do. When you say yes when you mean no, you are lying. You are building resentment, and resentment poisons love. When you set a boundary, you are protecting the relationship from your own resentment. But the real work isn't just about her, it's about you. Since you didn't get the nurturing, validation, or safety you needed as a child, you have a gap inside. For years, you've been trying to fill that gap with other people's approval, with work, with relationships. Now, you must fill it yourself. You must become the mother you never had. This is called reparenting. It means treating yourself with the compassion she couldn't give you. When you make a mistake, pay attention to the voice in your head. Does it sound like her? Does it say, "You're so stupid, you always mess up"? Catch that voice, stop it, and replace it with the voice of a kind, protective parent. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. We will fix this. You are safe. Reparenting means validating your own emotions. If you feel sad, don't tell yourself, "Stop crying, be strong," like she might have done. Tell yourself, "I see that you are sad. It makes sense to be sad. I am here with you." It creates a sense of internal safety that you have been looking for on the outside your whole life. It is the slow, brave work of replacing her voice in your head with your own. You were born once from your mother's body. That was the physical birth. But there is a second birth that must happen if you want to be truly free. You must birth your true self. This second birth is labor. It is painful. It involves guilt. It involves fear. It might even involve a period of silence or distance that feels unbearable. You will feel like a bad person. You will feel like you are breaking the rules of nature. But you are not. You are simply following the rules of growth. A seed cannot remain inside the flower forever. It must fall, separate, and bury itself in the dark earth to become its own tree. You have been the seed for too long. It is time to find your own soil. Your mother gave you life, but she cannot give you your life. That is something you have to take for yourself. The weight you are carrying, the shame, the obligation, the fear of being too much or not enough, you can put it down now. It's not yours. It never was. It was her luggage that she handed to you because she was too tired to carry it. You have carried it far enough. You can set it down. The most loving thing you can do for your lineage is to heal. Because when you heal, you stop passing this wound down to your children. You break the chain. If this video spoke to a part of you that has been silent for too long, I want you to do one thing today. Do one small thing just for you. Not for your mom, not for your partner, not for your boss, just for you. And when the guilt comes, and it will come, smile at it and do it anyway. Let me know in the comments, what is one boundary you know you need to set but are afraid to? Writing it down is the first step to making it real. Creating these videos takes a lot of emotional energy. If you want to support this channel and join a community of people breaking generational cycles, please like and subscribe. Take care of yourself. You are worth it.